Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back. I'm David Cherry. I'm a coach and advisor to startup founders and entrepreneurs. And today I want to talk with you about how I help put my clients at ease, whether it's the first phone call or another phone call that we have. How do you go into a conversation where you bring the client's guard down such that you can build real rapport, such that you can build a real relationship, a real connection? Now, a lot of people, when they're having their first conversation with a client, it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, right? You might not know what to expect. A lot of people get nervous before calls. This happens in the business world. That happens in the coaching and the freelance world. And so I want to talk about some aspects of the mindset you can take into client conversations that will put yourself at ease, but more importantly, put the client at ease, because that's where the best serendipitous relationships, the best connections can happen that lead to sales, collaborations, etc. So let's start with the first tip that I have for all of you today, and that tip is to make the conversation about the client. Now, I know that sounds obvious, but so often people jump into these conversations and they think that they need to be pitching their product. They think that they need to be pitching their skill. If you're on a conversation, or if you're in a conversation with a new client or a potential client, they already understand a bit about what you do. Yes, you're going to have to describe some about your process, but you don't need to just jump in and pitch yourself. Instead, make the conversation about them. Say things like, hey, I'm so happy to jump on with you. Tell me about your business and what you're looking to achieve. What is it that you're wanting to see? Hey, you reached out to me or we got connected. I'm assuming you maybe know a little bit about my background, or I can share for a minute about that. But what I'd really love to talk about is what you're wanting. Why are we here today? What is it that you're looking for? Really center the conversation about them and their problems. And that's the first thing you can do to position the conversation right so that they can feel comfortable and so that you can feel comfortable as well. So my second tip is to not jump right into business. This is the next thing that people often do. They don't start with any pleasantries. So often many of us are feeling rushed in our day. We're all tight on time, and it's really easy to skip the personal aspect of just saying, hey, how's your week been? What's new? It's been a long weekend recently. Did you do anything fun for that? Don't forget to connect on a personal level as well. Whether I'm leading meetings or taking meetings with new clients or existing clients, I always like to catch up just a little bit, just to have some personal aspect to the conversation. There's a million service providers out there, but if you can actually connect with somebody, you can build a real relationship. And do that at the beginning of your conversation instead of jumping right into business. Now, my third tip for you is to always return to value. And what I mean is that in this conversation, you want to understand what success looks like for your client, and you want to understand if you're actually achieving that. And the best thing you can do in a first conversation with a client is deliver value in the conversation. If you can give them success by helping them problem solve, by giving them an idea, by coaching them in some capacity, and you can give them success in that meeting. If they leave that meeting better off than where they started, just by talking to you, if you can give them some ideas that solve their problems, then you've created a magic moment that they're going to want more of. So you really want to deliver value in that first session. Now, for me, being a coach and advisor, I like to coach someone through something really difficult immediately. I like to see if we gel by actually almost jumping right into coaching. So the first session I have with someone, effectively, we're already in a coaching session, and I'm trying to understand more about them. I'm asking questions. I'm not trying to necessarily just pitch myself. I'm trying to show and demonstrate that I can help them just purely through that first conversation. So there are some questions you can ask and some phrases you can use that might be of help, and I'll share a few of them here. One is in the conversation saying, hey, how will we know that this conversation was productive for you today? Hey, it's so great to be talking with you. Thanks for sharing more about your business. What can we do today that would make this phone call a success, or what would lead you to have success at the end of this call? You can check in on those type of things, and you can always do this even in other types of conversations you have with people. So really what you want to do is understand what success looks like for them, what the outcome of the meeting is that they're hoping to get to, and then of course help them actually achieve that outcome. So, hey, by the end of this meeting, what would you like to have accomplished? It's just a great question you can ask at any point. How will we know if this is successful together? How will we know if our work together over the next few months is a success to you? That's a very important question that can be very useful in these type of discussions. Okay, so I've just given you those 3 tips to help you improve your conversations. Most of it is about centering the conversation around your client and not over pitching yourself, not jumping into how you can be valuable, showing it in the meeting, and keeping a focus on them so that they feel comfortable and they feel at ease. And this will allow you to build better rapport and ideally close more clients as well in this process. I want to end with a quick story that I had maybe a few years back when I was first starting to do some consulting and some coaching work. And I remember I was on the phone with this potential client. They were in New York City and we were starting to have the conversation. And she said to me something like, how do I know that you've got the right credentials to help me? I want you to tell me why you're so good at what you do and how you're going to help me. And I was so taken aback by that question. I was so put on the spot almost that I immediately went into this conversation where I was trying to prove my value. I was talking about all this experience I had, all these people I've worked with, and I was really trying to prove my worth, which was not the right thing to do at all. In fact, it almost set me up to fail. And of course, I never heard from that person again because I was trying to fill all the space with reasons I was great or, reasons that she should work with me. And none of those things really sent the right signals. In fact, what would have sent the right signals is for me to say something like, oh, wow, that's really interesting. Have you worked with coaches in the past? Have you worked with advisors in the past? Have you had bad experience? What have you seen work well? I don't feel like I need to go into all that history, but I'd be happy to talk about a few clients I work with today and where they've found success. Maybe I can tell some stories of some existing clients. But if you're really trying to prove yourself and show your product is great, trust me, it sends the wrong signals and it doesn't really set you up for success. So don't be like me in that conversation. Focus it around them. Bring it back to, oh, interesting. Well, why are you asking that? What are you trying to assess? What are you trying to achieve here? If you tell me that, it will help me understand how I can share about my process and service such that it could serve you best. So anyways, I hope this is a helpful way to think about your first client discussion, to not be so nervous going into a discussion, to have the right mindset to be successful, and most importantly, to put that client or potential client at ease so that you can really build a relationship that lasts in your business or your service. So as always, you can always leave comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions below. You can subscribe. I'll be back again next week with another video. Thanks.